Come on, Michael. Guess what? It's time for another pillar. Beverly? All right. Come on up. You're one of the unsung heroes of Middlesex. Congratulations and thank you for all your help over all the years. So we have a little, where do you want to stand? She's going to say a few words, so why don't you just run a microphone. Want to say yours first?
You want me to do mine? I'll do mine first.
And then, and then I'll give you this. Let's not get crazy. Okay. Beverly D. Weber. Whereas the governing body of the Borough of Middlesex recognizes that in order for a community to thrive and succeed, it must rely on the service, commitment, and passion of others. And whereas it is in the spirit that Mayor Middlesex would like to honor and recognize individuals throughout the community who have made exceptional contributions to the Borough of Middlesex as pillars of our community. And whereas throughout the years, Beverly Weber has consistently demonstrated praiseworthy service and unprecedented commitment to the borough and its residents by being irreplaceable to the borough. And whereas Beverly has proved herself a valuable asset to the borough as well as the Middlesex Public Library, serving as board trustee member for over 4 years. And whereas during her term as board president in 2003, Beverly worked closely with the architect on the Middlesex Public Library expansion project. And whereas under the guidance of Beverly Weber, the Friends of the Library have arranged numerous programs for the public, including bus trips to New York City, as well as monthly book discussions, etc., since her appointment over 30 years ago. And whereas Beverly's dedication and accomplishments have been apparent through numerous projects, including her work on the recycling committee prior to the establishment of the Middlesex Borough Recycling Center, the library renovation, and whereas Middlesex Public Library recognized the significant role that Beverly has worked through the dedication and naming of the community. And whereas Beverly Weber has displayed exemplary service and dedication to the municipality and has become an integral part of the community, and now therefore Jack Middlesex, Mayor of the Borough of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, along with the Middlesex Borough Council, and on behalf of the residents of Middlesex, we wish to thank you, Beverly, for all of your dedication, sacrifice, and labor to our community. Thank you.
Thank you. I've always worn 2 hats, a music hat and a library hat.
Can't hear?
Okay, so as I was saying, I've always worn 2 hats, a music hat, a library hat. Tonight I'm wearing my library hat. When I was a child growing up in Baltimore, I was a voracious reader, and I never failed to go to the story hour at the public library every week. But my main interest was always music. And I eventually graduated from the Peabody Conservatory of Music in Baltimore, and I was studying teaching and performing music. But then, after I was married and my husband took a job in New Jersey, we moved to Middlesex in the 1950s, and I continued my music. But historically, this was a time of Russian space achievements, and the powers that be, if you can believe it, the powers that be here decided that the United States would be more competitive with Russia in space if elementary schools only had libraries. Go figure. Virginia Lund, who was a professional librarian who lived in Middlesex, asked me if I would run a little lending library at Pierce School where my children went. And I agreed to do that. And she helped me set up a little lending library that met once a week. But somewhere along the line, the school allotted me a significant amount of money to buy new books for the library. And I thought, I really should go to the Rutgers Library School and sign up for a course in children's lit. which is what I did. Sorry, they said. They were not interested in having me take a course in children's lit. They were graduating professional librarians, and they weren't interested in competing with volunteers. They said, we'll be happy to accept you in the full master's program, but we can't allow you to come and just take one single course. So I signed up for the children's lit course. And imagine my chagrin when a couple days before the course was to begin, I got a notice from the library school saying, we're very sorry to say that the course in children's lit is full. And we've taken the liberty of putting you in cataloging 101, which means at the same time. So there I was. I became a librarian whether I meant to or not. I graduated from the library school, and I served a number of years in Franklin Township as a school librarian. From Monday to Friday, I was a librarian, and on the weekends, I was a musician. I've been active with the Friends of the Library, and for the last 30 years, I've run a monthly post discussion at the library. And I was appointed as a member of the Library Board of Trustees over 40 years ago. And as mentioned, my busiest time was during the library expansion when I was board president. Being on the board has been a wonderful experience, and I thank you for giving me this opportunity. And finally, I heartily thank you for giving me this honor tonight. Thank you.
However you want. All right, let's get it. Got enough room? All right. Is that everybody?
All right, is everyone in the picture ready? 1, 2, 3. Great, congratulations.
That's her. Just take that face,
One more.
The important part. Congratulations.
All right. Thank you, Beverly. Congratulations. We have a presentation tonight from the swim pool. I'll tell you what. For those of you who are just here for this presentation, I'll give you a couple of minutes to slide on out the door. How's that? You're going to take... Okay. Mr. France.
Of course. Thanks, Beverly. Have a good night, right?
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Sorry, brother. No problem. Mark, you need a easel for that or anything? Really, no. I'll hold it up and I'll put it back. Sure. You get help out? I got it. Might have to. Got a new number. The library. Better double check. It's because the last
All right. Let's regroup. Are you good now? Yep, we're good. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's get back into order. Mark, you ready?
I am ready.
All right.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mark Franz. I'm the chairman or chairperson of the Middlesex Pool Commission. Been a member for somewhere around 20 years.
Tell you what, Mark, would you do me one favor? Why don't you go right to the lectern? Because this way you're talking to them as well as us,
Okay.
and it'll actually has a mic on there which will record it for you.
Okay. As I said, my name's Mark Franz. I'm the chairman of the Middlesex Pool Commission. I've been a member of the commission for somewhere around 20 years. Tonight I'm here representing the 6 volunteers that are on the commission, which many of them are sitting in the back, and as well as the entire staff at the pool. The Middlesex Community Pool was formerly called the Roy K. Harkness Community Pool, and it was commissioned and built by the Middlesex Borough somewhere in the 60s. I'm guessing based on the picture I have tonight, that was done in 1967. And let me just hold it up for everybody. This has been secretly hidden at the pool for many years. This is what the pool used to look like and when it was built. And Michael has graciously offered to have it hung in the history room in the library. So that's exciting. It won't get lost at the pool. Let's see. The pool services not only Middlesex residents, but it services over 25 communities around Middlesex, as far as Clinton, Warren, New Brunswick, Hillsborough, Raritan, White House Station, and many, many other towns. Over the years, as you can see, the pool is very sparse, and the pool looks very different today. Since the beginning of the pool, the commission has funded or bonded out 5 or 6 capital improvement projects, expanding the pool facility to what it is today. The projects basically, this is what I can figure out. Expansion of the original pool building, the pool filter building, with an updated filtration system, filter building for the kiddie pool, expansion of the kiddie pool twice. We added the slide, added a new lap pool for the health-conscious swimmer with a computerized filtration system, replaced all the concrete aprons around the pool. The second expansion was, along with this project, we added water features, and then just recently we refurbished the slide after about 20 years of sitting outside in the weather. All the projects have been funded by the pool. The pool has never taken a tax dollar. All the daily operations, all the capital improvement projects are totally funded by the pool commission. Again, no tax dollar, which is awesome when you think about that. The last project we did was $1.3 million, and we bonded it out, and we paid back most of it already. The pool commission, we added an electronic membership registration system in 2014 to allow the use of credit cards. Previously, we only accepted checks, so we decided it was time to move into at least the 20th century and allow people to pay with credit cards. In 2021, we updated that system, and now we can track any number in the pool, revenue, memberships, anything, zip codes we get memberships from. We can track everything in this system. So now, since 2021, we've been able to look at all the necessary and important numbers of the pool, where previous to that, I couldn't tell you how many members there were, I couldn't tell you what revenue we got, or anything, and now we can do all that stuff. Programs. We offer a lot of programs, which people don't realize. And these programs are offered to residents and non-residents. We have a summer recreational swim team. We have an Aqualight synchronized swim team, which is the only one of its kind in New Jersey. Aqua Zumba, swim lessons for adults and children. And then other programs that are run by other organizations where they rent the pool. Greater Somerset Valley YMCA has rented the pool for their long course swim team for the month of July for close to, if not more than 20 years. The JCC long course swim team rents the pool for 3 or 4 Sundays in the morning for 2 hours for their long course swim team. We open the pool 2 days a week. We started this a couple of years ago. In August, for autistic kids who have problems with crowds, they come in before the pool opens, and the pool's open for 2 hours for them and their families. And that is facilitated through the Middlesex Elks. Middlesex High School holds their senior day at the pool facility. We're currently working with Big Hugs Daycare Center to develop a summer program where they can bring their kids to the pool. They are going to hold their end-of-the-year party at the pool instead of in the park. So we're very excited about that. Some other things, we held a logo contest. The pool never had a logo. So several years ago, we held a logo contest among all residents. Middlesex, anybody that wanted to submit a logo, and we got a whole ton of logos. And the commission picked like 5 logos. We had an agreement with Middlesex High School Art Department. They took the 5 logos. The kids were able to modify the logos any way they wanted to. And then they came to us, and we chose a logo. And so now, after 55 plus years, the pool has its own logo, which is super exciting. It really kind of gives us an identity. Some of the things we're looking at, we had Middlesex High School graduated art students design murals for the pool, for the front gate, and then the new pool filter building that's on the parking lot for the high school. We hope to find the funds to have these murals put in over the next year or two. Super exciting. They're going to brighten the place up tremendously. The last thing I really have is I want to brag a little bit about are the volunteers on the commission. The 6 people I work with are the 6 most amazing volunteers in Middlesex. They are 100% vested in doing what's right for the pool. They're all vocal. Even sometimes if I don't agree with them, I love it because sometimes my ideas are not the best ideas. It's always best to work with a mastermind, which is what I have. So I'm really blessed to have the 6 people work with me that do. The pool has, they're involved in making sure the day-to-day operations, helping out the pool staff, and everything there is to do at the pool. And then just finally, there are 3 people I want to really recognize. Although everybody on the commission is amazing, there's 3 people I really want to recognize because they have really stepped up the last couple of months. We've had some issues at the pool with some technical difficulties. We weren't open this weekend. We may not be open. We may not be able to open this following weekend, but definitely the weekend after that. We're waiting for parts to come in for the pool. But Stephen Berg, who's worked at the pool for a long time, took over the manager position after our manager left. And he has done an outstanding job in probably the most challenging spring of opening the pool ever. Broken water lines, leaking pipes, hot water system not working correctly, and he has really stepped up tremendously. Barbara Benson, you probably all know Barbara Benson, but with the inspection from the Somerset County this year is what created a lot of the challenges because they had a much more stringent inspection than we got from Middlesex County in the past. And she has really stepped up since last Wednesday and really pretty much gotten almost everything Somerset County is requiring for the pool to open. There were about 5 or 6 requirements that we had never needed before. She has just stepped up and done an amazing job putting that all together, talking with Somerset County, talking with the guy that's doing the pool work and everything. So I can't speak highly enough of her. And then last, Katie Young, our secretary. She has been just a stalwart in membership and just getting stuff done. She does stuff that's not part of her job, which tremendously helps me. And again, I can't speak highly enough about Katie Young, too. She has done just a fantastic job, especially this year, with all the challenges that we have. So if you guys aren't members, join. We're really excited about what's going on with the pool. And that's it.
The volunteers from the pool, could you guys just stand up for a sec? thank you for your efforts. I know that they threw a wobbler at you this year, and I know you guys have been working pretty hard to get through it. And you know, I know the way it goes with parts and this and that and the other thing. So it's a lot of expediting and a lot of phone calls and, you know, a lot of tears and a lot of crying and gnashing of teeth. But thank you for your efforts, and we're hoping that we catch a break and it's open this weekend, but if not, the following weekend, and we look forward to a great summer.
Absolutely.
Any of you guys have anything?
Mark,
Yep.
how's the membership this year?
Membership's up slightly over last year, 1.6% over last year. But I noticed now that we can watch our membership since 2021, the membership really fluctuates. It's up and down. It's not down, 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 or it's not up, up, up. It's down one year, it's up the next year, it's down the next year, it's up the next year. Our membership really is dependent a lot on the weather, when people join or not. We have a really bad spring. Membership's not as good as it is in the years where we have good springs. So, but it is up slightly this year, so far.
They're hoping for a heat wave.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Anybody? Thank you very much for your time, Mark.
Awesome, thank you. By the way, I do have aerial pictures of the pool today, so anybody wants to, they can compare what it looks like today versus what it looked like in 1967.
Wow. All right, very good. Thank you.
Is that the aerial, Mark, right there?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, nice.
Courtesy of, I think, Stephen took the picture for it. Stephen on that.
Someone's got a drone, right?
Yeah.
That's always the way. All right, Linda, moving on.
Okay.
Appointments.
We have reappointing Lauren Pizzoli and Monica Townsend as regular members of the Cultural and Arts Committee.
Is this motion a second? Motion a second?
Motion.
You're a second.
Second.
Right, okay. Just so you know, we'll get that in a second. Just so you know, this is actually, Hardik is actually working with Linda to try and get the minutes and try and get this. There's a process to this, which is why sometimes these things, you see reappointments and stuff like that. We're just trying to get, finally, this cultural and heritage on there the correct way. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, ordinance for introduction.
We have ordinance number 2153-25, an ordinance to amend Chapter 80, Article 2, Rules and Regulations, Section 75, Administrative Fees for use of police officers and/or vehicles on extra duty jobs.
Okay. Need a motion? Need a
Second.
second? All right, the public meeting on this will be when?
June 17th.
June 17th. All right, that's what I thought. All right. Pardon me? Roll call, please.
Council President Carnahan?
Yes.
Councilman DeSenza?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
Yes.
Councilman Doty?
Yes.
And Councilman Griggs?
Yes.
Okay. Ordinance for public hearing and final adoption.
Ordinance number 2152-25, an ordinance vacating Aubrey Place and a portion of Hale Place.
Okay, have a motion to open the public portion.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, anyone wishing to come forward and speak on this, please come up to the mic. Not seeing a bull rush on that one. Like a motion to close?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion to approve.
Motion, Mayor. Second.
Okay, you all caught up?
I'm ready.
Roll call, please.
Council President Carnahan?
Yes.
Councilman DeSenza?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
Yes.
Councilman Doty?
Yes.
And Councilman Griggs?
Yes.
Okay, adoption of minutes.
I have adoption of the May 13th, 2025 regular and executive meeting minutes.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's move on. We are up to, I have it, the mayor's report. Okay. Mine will be fairly quick tonight, but I do have a couple of things I want to touch on. Hakai, just so everyone knows, for all the rigmarole back and forth, since the last meeting, there have been 0 calls for service. There have been no calls to the police. I know that they're still working their way through the stuff that they have with the fire marshal and everything else, so the story continues, and we'll get there. The other thing is, Mark, you kind of took away a little bit of my thunder. I was going to talk about the pool. Basically, thank you, Barbara. That was an excellent email that you put out there that kind of explained everything is. Working with a local vendor to get the issue resolved. It's It's one of those things where it just sort of happens. It popped up as something they never really looked at that close, but it's something that should be taken care of, and in order to do the right thing, will be taken care of in time for pool opening. Everything else, I know that you took care of a lot of the little minutia details and stuff like that, which it's a one-liner that I said. It was probably hours of work on your part to get through that, and I know the way that stuff works. Thank you very much for that. We are looking forward to the pool being open. Okay, Class 3 specials. The reason I mention this is because there was a big brouhaha at the school board meeting regarding the Class 3 specials and a lack of response, I guess, from the part of the council, us, specifically me too, not wanting to meet and all the rest of that. I'm just gonna, there's a lot of disinformation out there. I have, it's well documented. We've been going back and forth with this for quite a while. Right now, where we are is that since May 12th, our attorney, Mr. Crescini, has been in touch with their Ari Schneider, okay, and basically he addressed all the inquiries and was requesting follow-up with discussion with the chief. And what really pushed that into a discussion is that it went from 5 members to 3 is what they asked for. And although it sounds, well, it's just 5, it's only going to be 3, but the real question is, what 3? Why 3? How is that going to work? You know, the chief had some concerns, and he wanted to have his questions answered actually before it all came out. So this basically at this point is still sitting there because I don't believe we have received a response to date. Negative, all right. And the last thing I want to say on that is regarding my personal reticence to answer emails or text, as it were. I did not answer an email. I did send a text and have been conversing via text for a while. Last one, Tuesday, May 6th, I apologize. I've been in and out of meetings. When we met, we discussed having open lines of discussion. That was from Roberta. Actually, sorry, earlier in the day. Hi, Jack. I hope you are well. Do you have time to meet with me, my board president and vice president tomorrow? Tomorrow could be a little tough as I have a lot going on with the day job. What do you want to talk about? And then it moved into I've been in meetings for her. Then the way we wound up after that was want to try and meet the week after Memorial Day. Work has me running crazy hard, and I figure June, you are going to be super busy. That was me speaking to her. Hi, I will let you know next week once I get the schedules of everyone. Have a great weekend. This is the week before Memorial Day. To date, I have not received a response. Okay, the little after that was just a couple of pleasantries. Are you going to the parade this year? Absolutely, rain or shine. If it rains, we can get you a ride in the chief's car if you need one. So there's been an open dialogue. You know, the fact that we're not ignoring anybody, we have nothing to hide. Frankly, we're trying to get this done. Earlier in the year, I did present and did send a letter to the school board basically saying, you're not going to be able to get 5 officers this year. Basically because the time it's been lagging. This has been going on since November. We've been trying to get this resolved and figured out. And once it got to about March, it was like we're not going to have enough time to find guys, hire them, train them, equip them, get them in, and have them ready to go for September 1st. And as a matter of fact, now we were talking maybe 1 or 2 for the end of the year, maybe at this point. But I mean, we're still a ways off on a memorandum of agreement and everything else. So we wait. But, you know, the only thing I have to say on that also is that I do believe, you know, I know the council president Parente went off pretty hard, but I think basically she was only working with the information that she had to work with, and I'll just leave it at that. And that's my report. Oh, and the parade, for those of you that didn't go, you missed a nice parade. The weather was perfect. It was well attended. I should ask for rain or shine every year, because whenever we wait to the last minute, it rains. This year we said rain or shine. Everyone was worried. The weather was perfect. And thanks for the use of your car, Joe. All right.
Not mine.
Oh, it's the boss's car? Sorry. I guess at least you let him drive. And he had the right hat for it, so that's okay. All right. Okay, moving on. Council President?
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to congratulate Beverly. I know she's gone for her 40-plus years of dedicated service to the library. Our next pillar of Middlesex will be Jim Benson on Tuesday, July 15th at 7 p.m. I am very happy to announce that the Middlesex Library's local history room will be opening on Monday, June 16th at 6 p.m. There will be a gathering in the library community room, and that starts at 6. They're going to highlight the process and details about the room, and it's open for all to attend. I wanted to congratulate Captain Craig Kalmiski on his upcoming June 1st retirement, which will be Sunday. Job well done. I appreciate all those involved with finalizing the PBA contract. It's on the agenda tonight, including those on the PBA side, Mark and Scott, and those on the borough side. Thank you.
It's been a good, I think it was a win-win all the way around. Everyone should be happy.
So, thank you, Mark, for the swim pool presentation. I want to thank the entire swim pool commission. I know everybody's here but one. Thank you for coming, and that's all I have, Mayor.
That was quick.
Yeah.
You took me by surprise. We don't usually get that. Councilman Carnes is not here. Councilman DeSenza.
I too want to congratulate the Swim Pool Commission for an excellent job. They really try very hard to get everything going and understand that they're not using public money. All the money comes from the memberships, and that's a great feat just to get that done. I was telling them that I had the good fortune of actually meeting Roy K. Harkness. He worked for United Airlines, and when I was working for McGraw-Hill, they had an office in the McGraw-Hill building, and we had lunch together. He gave me a good background to the pool. He had this great idea and started it up, and we are still celebrating his achievements. So thank you again. I know you do a lot of hard work, and it shows. Do have a report from the Recreation Commission. Next session of yoga will be starting on June 3rd. It's Tuesdays from 7 to 8 p.m. and registration is open. Summer Playground registration ends this Friday, and we're almost at capacity. The Summer Wrestling Training Clinic is starting at the end of June. Registration will be opening soon. So that's it. That's the update for the Rec Commission, and that's all I have tonight.
All right, thank you. Councilman DeCino.
Yeah, for DPW, I spoke to Lenny today. He applied for a streetscape grant, $1.5 million. We'll continue the streetscape from Washington Ave to Lorraine Ave. It's going to be the poles, the benches, and papers and stuff. Yeah, so that's good. Hopefully we get that. Also, Middlesex County Recycling will be dropping off your 96-gallon containers to each resident by the end of June.
Whole town?
Whole town gets. Everyone will get one. If you're a senior and you want a smaller can, rather than a 96-gallon can, you can get one. But they will be dropping up to 96-gallon can to everyone. The start date, I don't know the exact start date yet, but the cans will be delivered by then. As far as Mountain View Park, the restroom will be delivered this Thursday. We have no installation date yet, but we have to get that on the premises for our grant money. We have to get that here. And also, twice a week garbage starts next week. Normally it's this week, but it's always created confusion because of the holiday. If you had Monday garbage, it would be Wednesday, and it was Wednesday, Thursday, so we made it the following week, which is much better. The environmental green team submitted a second round of certification for sustainable tourism. Hopefully, we get approved there. They also have a poster contest. The deadline is May 31st. It's benefits of trees. As far as J-Love, there's a meeting tomorrow, May 28th at 7 p.m. That's all I have.
I know you've been, pardon me?
I'll let Michael take care of the paving of South Lake.
Oh, okay, that's exactly what I was going to ask. That's exactly what I was going to ask
I was
about.
not happy today.
I know that. Councilman Doty.
Yes, Mayor. First thing, Mark, you and the pool commission, I had the privilege years ago of being your liaison, and I know you guys do a great job, especially you, Katie. Leading up to the opening, I know you were pulling your hair out with registrations, and that's back before it was as automated as it is now. I have a couple reports to court. First, Mayor, April, 256 tickets, 20 parking, 236 moving, 6 of them were DWIs. 22 criminal complaints, 3 local ordinance violations, 7 zoning issued, 1 zoning was deposed. I'd like to find more out about that, and I haven't had a chance to call her. There were 4 court sessions, 2 in person, 2 virtual, 233 defendants, 419 cases deposed of this month, 12 DWIs deposed, total fines $44,917.38, and the boroughs is $19,774.44. Also have the police report for April, 1,877 calls to service, 15 adult arrests, 254 summonses, 45 radars, 28 motor vehicle crashes. If I can find this here, give me 1 second. Okay, their NIBRS clearance rate, which is the National Incident-Based Reporting System, they had 7 crimes, 3 were cleared for a 43% for April, which is pretty good. Overall for the year, it's 23, which is fairly good considering the number.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have a few things that the chief sent over to me that's coming up. He just reminded me about some policing events for this year. They just had Pops for Cops. I guess it had to go indoors because it was raining that day, but it was still fairly well attended from what the chief told me. He sent some pictures over. I believe they're on your guys' website. We have National Night Out coming up August 19th from 6 to 8:30. There's Operation Chill, and that's June to September. It's hosted by 7-Eleven. Youths are awarded free Slurpee coupons when they are caught doing something good in Middlesex Borough, which is pretty cool.
He's done that for a few years.
Yeah, they've been doing that for a while now. It's been good. 7-Eleven's been good. They have Coffee with a Cop, September weekday morning, 7-Eleven. They're going to have it. I guess they have it. No date. Annual food drive is coming up again that they do replenish in October. They do Wear Pink for a Cause. That's also in October. They wear Velcro badge to fight against breast cancer, bring awareness. There's also Domestic Violence Awareness Month in October. You know, that's a big one. I know they have a response team and everything for that, and it's a big deal, and a lot of that goes on, and people don't even know that it's happening behind the scenes. No Shave November brings awareness about, and I know the officers like it because they can finally grow a little fuzz. Brings awareness for cancer, and then there's also going to be holiday patrol initiatives from November to January, so be on the lookout. And all during the year, they do have safety initiatives. So if you see a lot of cops out there and pulling people over, please slow down, keep your seatbelt on, don't be on your phone. Also, I'd like to thank the PBA reps. We did a marathon along with the mayor and Council President Conahan, and we got it done finally, and thank you for the cooperation and, you know, bargaining with us. That's all I have, Mayor.
That's it? It sounds like a little bit, but boy, that was a lot of work.
Yes.
That was a lot of work. Councilman Gregg.
Good evening. Thanks, first off, thanks for a great presentation about the pool. Very informative, and thank you for all the volunteers who help keep the pool going. It's appreciated. Board of Health. If you have a business in town, mercantile licenses are due by May 31st. After that, they would be fine if you haven't re-registered. So just a reminder to folks, if you happen to have a business in town, the Board of Health has said that there will be a rabies clinic in the fall. The date could follow, but they are intending to have a rabies clinic again this year after it didn't happen last year. And their meetings are on the third Thursday of the month at 6:30 in the library community room. As far as the Shade Tree Commission goes, not much has changed, but you know, everyone's always welcome to attend. Those are the second Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. They meet in this room. Thank you for everyone that took part in the parade. It was a big success this year. It's appreciated. It's a great town event. And you know, if anybody's ever looking to volunteer, we have lots of organizations and committees and groups in town. You can always see any one of us for information on where folks are needed. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, good. Before I get to Administrator of the places, one thing I did want to mention is that if you guys are paying attention to the news, you saw what happened in Woodbridge. You see what's going on in Seaside Heights. You know, it's all these little pop-up parties and stuff like that, you know. And I think finally it's starting to get a little traction in Trenton because a lot of people are starting to complain now that they're doing nothing. And it was like Camp Run Amok, you know. And it just goes to show us that the decision we made about the carnival for this year, because it seems like that's what they're targeting. They're looking at all these public events and they just want to make a pain in the neck out of themselves. And, you know, I mean, look at Seaside. They had 3 stabbings and then now there's a 4th. I mean, it very easily could have happened here, especially when they had the cars going off with the mufflers where people were starting to question, was it gunshots? All it usually takes is 1 or 2 to go off, and then it's just way out of control. And I think until they really get a firm legislative handle on what they're doing with this is a better move for us to just avoid it. That's all I have to say on that. Administrator LaPlace.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. I'll be reporting on some items, administrative items, and also some things that Councilman Carnes asked me to report on as well. As others have mentioned, the Memorial Day Parade was a big success again, with the borough working in partnership with the American Legion. I'd like to thank Public Works, Recreation, and the Middlesex Police Department for all the hard work they put into it and the expert coordination that made the event such a success. Keeping up with considerable rain that we're receiving this month, Public Works has been doing a great job cutting grass, mulching, and doing all kinds of maintenance and beautification projects in our parks and around the borough. As for an update on South Lincoln Avenue, the Army Corps reports that paving of the base coat of the road is scheduled for this Thursday. And then the paving of the top coat will be Friday, weather permitting. So everyone in the borough, cross your fingers. Hopefully we're getting close to the end. We are pleased to note the completion of the new Borough Hall parking lot. The project involved repaving the lot and designing a new and improved layout. This new design has resulted in an additional 20 parking spaces. There's also a safer layout since there are now 2 straight drive aisles running parallel to Borough Hall. Big thanks to Lenny Vidal and to Carolyn Benson because they worked for a long time with the Army Corps to make this project happen to benefit the borough. Some senior news items. We had a great turnout for the ukulele demonstration last week. Yes, we have a ukulele team. And we'll be having this program on a weekly basis starting in July. Also, there are still openings for the AARP driver safety course being held on June 3rd and June 5th. Please call the Senior Center for details and to register if you're interested. This evening, by resolution, the borough is hiring a part-time zoning and code enforcement officer, Matthew Dillingham, to replace Tyler Brunel, who left the borough several weeks ago. The recruitment for a full-time zoning and code enforcement director is continuing, with interviews expected to be scheduled in early June. Resolutions this evening include authorization to approve the memorandum of understanding reached with DBA Local 181, the approval of summer playground staff for 2025, authorization for the municipal court to purchase replacement recording system equipment in the amount of $8,715.53 for this room, and authorization for the mayor to execute the municipal alliance contract agreement with Middlesex County for fiscal year 2026. Tonight's agenda workshop will involve a discussion of a permit waiver request by the Middlesex ELF, and there will be no executive session discussion. Mayor?
That's it?
Yep.
Alrighty. Okay, let's move on to the privilege of the floor. Anyone wishing to speak?
Dave Polkevich, 240 Hazelwood. I wasn't at the last meeting, as you know, and since I wasn't at the meeting, I was reviewing documentation of my long meeting, bill list and things like that. And I checked the legal bills that were submitted by Mr. Corsini's firm for 2 months' worth. And I was just going through it and making some notations, and I noticed that there was quite a bit of work done on a zoning case, which is, you guys are well familiar with it, it's right down the street from me. I totaled it up, it was quite a bit of time spent on that. I'm not criticizing you for spending the time, I'm just saying this is fact. And my question is really not about the legal work itself, but if it cost us as a town $8,000 to go after a zoning scofflaw, are we ever going to get that money back from them? Or are the taxpayers just out this amount of money?
I mean, I guess it depends at the end of the day if if fines are issued. I mean, fines, I believe, have been issued to a certain extent at this point. How much is it? Are you really going to make the whole thing up? Probably not, I would think. Unless it's an ongoing type of fine.
Okay, so you don't think that, and again, I'm not asking you to play judge, but you don't think through the court process we're going to possibly may not recoup that whole $8,000? And then the question that comes to my mind about that is there something wrong with the legal process if this kind of situation exists, or is it something wrong with our administrative code in the way we pursue these cases? I was just wondering, I would be interested to hear what you guys have to say about that. Because, it's like, I think most people would agree, and not just with zoning, but with any type of violation. You have somebody sitting out there ignoring ordinances, and town can't stand that. They've got to go after the person. But then if we run up, even if it's not legal expenses, some type of other expenses, going after this person to get them to comply, and then the taxpayers are out that money, it just really doesn't seem right. It's like we're paying for their being scofflaw.
Correct.
Yeah. So
Well, sorry. I mean, if in my opinion, Dave, it's a little bit of everything. I think there's a little bit with the courts and how fast some of these cases are processed. We're working on that. That's something that
pushing hard.
that Councilman Doty and Council President Conahan have picked up on, and we're like, we gotta do better. It's hard to find someone a second time if you haven't tried the first time. So that's why we're looking to add different court dates. That's one. Second thing is, it's like anything else. Sometimes you hit certain instances where it's unique, or it's the first time it really came to, and sometimes it's just because, well, no one ever bothered to look at these things before. Well, that's not the way that we look at these things. If it's wrong and it's creating an issue, yeah, maybe costly, maybe a bit of a pain in the neck to go after it, but, pity the first guy, but maybe the second guy is going to think twice before they want to try and do the same thing. And that's why, I get it, but that it could be a little bit high, but a lot of times, if we're wrong, it could cost us way more than making sure that we're right when we go after somebody. So that's why, that's why, Dave, really.
Well, let me ask this, Corsini, do you find that this is the case with most cases like this, that it's just, it's a lot of work for your firm, we in turn get billed for it because of the work you do, but then we don't really recoup those costs, and it's just like the taxpayers are just on the hook for all this stuff. Do you find that to be the case most of the time?
That the taxpayers, the cases do not generate the money that
Yeah,
are
whatever we
fees
spend
and
prosecuting
staff
these
time,
cases, we
and
don't-
staff time, Mike Kalachi's time, the prosecutor's time. I only see the input, I don't see the output, right? So I can't say for one way or another. I don't know what fees we end up collecting on. I don't have the data to give me intelligent statement here, Dave. So
Well, when the judge, now, is this, if you have a severe case, I guess they go to Superior Court, not just local court, right? Is that
rarely.
rarely? There may be-
It can happen, but
Okay.
it's typically done here.
Well, like if you file a lawsuit against your neighbor in some type of liability case, and you can ask the judge to, if you think there's been some type of negligence to recoup your legal fees, doesn't always get granted, but you can ask. Does the judge in these cases, these zoning cases, take that into account? How much the town is spending to pursue this case against somebody who's not doing what they should be? Do they take that into account?
That I don't know, Dave, because again, I do the input, not the output. You can ask your very, very excellent prosecutor, Mike Kalachi, what he's observing on the ground level. I'm not there when the cases are pursued. We do just the back office legal work on it. I wish I could give you a better answer. I like to give good answers. But yeah, I just don't have the data. I don't have the data points to give you an informed answer. Let me put it that way.
Okay. All right. One other question. This is really not about that case specifically, but I noticed, and Mr. LaPlace just mentioned it, you hired somebody tonight part-time as a zoning
Yes.
officer. Now, but I didn't catch all of it. I guess Mr. LaPlace said there's still interviews going on,
Well,
so this person is just part-time? or-
We went back out, and there was a lot of discussion on, do we have the right person, do we have the wrong person? There was a couple of questions on the procedure, the way we did it. We knew that we needed to have somebody basically minding the store, so we went out, we hired a part-timer. It is still fully our intention and contention that, I hope that's the right word, but it's what we want to do is that we think that we're running out of opportunity. There's way too many broken windows that we're not having the proper people checking these things and looking at them, and there's only so much that the police department, we need a code enforcer. We need a guy out there and the things that we want to see as a council for our borough outstrips the time of a part-time guy. We need a full-time, as a matter of fact, I've mentioned this to a couple of the guys. I think even a full-time guy might not be enough to get done the things that we want to get done in this town. That's my own opinion.
So what would be the answer to that? You would have the director and then some part-timers working for you?
Let's one step at a time, Dave. We got to get a full-time guy and see how that works, and then we got to move on from there, because we're only budgeted right now for a full-time person, and that's, unless we get to the end of the year and we could do some sort of budget transfer and magically we have money, which is not going to be too easy based on the budget that we put forth this year. Odds are we're probably going to be well into next year before we look to do anything different. And it's going to take that person, it's like anything else. You have a new guy in the job, and they're doing the but they're not as good as the 30-year guy. Maybe a lot of people see that and they say, oh, look at this new guy, he's running around, he's going crazy, oh, look at all the work he's doing. Whereas look at the 30-year-old guy, he's just taking it easy. They don't realize that the 30-year guy is getting 3 times as much done as the first guy because he's been doing it for a long time, and he knows where to look, he knows how to go, he's not chasing his tail. And if you're going to have a director-ish type of position like that, which we may need, you really do want the guy to have a chance to cut his teeth so he knows what he's doing, instead of just throwing another body at it, and now you have 2 people that don't know what they're doing. We'd rather avoid that.
Okay. I just had a brief question, really just clarification on Class 3. When you were talking about the situation, You said you guys, in March, you began to realize you do not have enough time to get the person trained in time for September.
5.
5.
We don't have enough time left in the year to hire 5 Class 3 spec. Find them, hire them, spec them, equip them, train them, and get them out the door.
Say by the end of the year, do you mean by the end of the calendar year, the end of the school?
We were talking the end of the calendar year.
Okay, so you don't think there's as of March, you realize that, there's a certain amount of time that you need.
Well, yeah, we were trying to dispel the root. Like, don't think that we're just going to flip a switch and these guys are going to show up with 5 guys tomorrow and say, hey, we're ready. Maybe we'll get lucky. I doubt it. I mean, all indications are it's not going to go as quick as everyone would like. Just like the whole process has not gone as quick as everyone would like.
And I believe you said, although we don't think we can have all of them by the end of the year, we might be able to get 1 or 2 in place. Is that your position?
That's what we're hoping. But you got to remember, the clock doesn't start ticking until after all the paperwork's done and everything's straight. And they threw a wobbler at us. I mean, Chris knows.
The board sought a downward adjustment from 5 to 3 on their own. That was not the choice of this administration or the governing body. We have been prepared. I know Chief Geist has been prepared to recruit 5 from the beginning. I believe it was quite frankly, Dave, the delay of the board that has led to certain inevitable downward adjustments.
Yes, you're probably going to need 6 to cover for 5 in case somebody's out. Because one of the things that does come along with this, Dave, is that, and one of the reasons we asked for clarification is because starting this year, this past year, in September, there's an SRO in the school. That SRO is 100% paid for, not by the schools, but by the borough. All right? And what we wanted to make sure is an SRO is not a Class 3 special running around talking to these kids. It's a whole different thing. And we want to make sure that the schools understand that that is clearly not the case. So when that all came out, and they only asked for 3, our question is, what's your plan? What's your plan for these 3 people? What do you expect them to do, and how are they doing that? I mean, in my mind, I was like, well, I hope they're not thinking that the SRO is going to take care of the high school. You're going to put 1 in Parker, 1 in Hazelwood, and have 1 guy walking back and forth between Watchung and Mauger. I mean, I can't say that that's what they're thinking, but if I was looking at it, I would be like, well, maybe that is what they're thinking. I really don't know,
Well, even though the SRO, I understand what you're saying, that the SRO and Class 3s are 2 different jobs, but having the SRO in the high school is a deterrent. I mean, I would think, I'm not saying they're doing the same job as the Class 3.
Yeah, but deterrent to what? That's the question. I mean, you have a Class 3 special, you have a disciplinary issue going on. That Class 3 could be, not the Class 3, the SRO could be, and you could probably talk to it better than I, could be in a meeting, could be meeting with parents, could be doing all these other sort of things. A Class 3 special is supposed to be walking around making sure there ain't some guy walking in the door with something that he shouldn't have under his coat jacket.
Right, but I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe Bangalore High School has an SRO, I believe. And every time I go down the road during the school day and I drive by, I see a police car parked out front. So it is psychologically a deterrent. That person who's driving up to the high school doesn't necessarily know that police officer beside is an SRO and not a Class 3.
I mean, at this point, Dave, the only thing I'm going to say with that is that's the reason the chief asked for clarification, and I will 100% defer to the chief's judgment on what is required and necessary in the schools.
And my last question is, if they only want 3 as opposed to 5, who decides which schools they go to? They do, or the chief does?
It's their money, so it would probably be there. But the thing is that they also, it depends on the memorandum of agreement, because there were some specific things as to how that was going to run. Chris?
So typically the chief would have complete operational control over law enforcement in Middlesex Borough. He would have complete operational control. What he has asked for, quite reasonably, is feedback from the school board as to their deployment preferences. We have not received that feedback. Dave, speaking quite frankly, the administration's governing body, and certainly Chief Geist have been very aggressive and very willing to staff this program to get this program off the ground as quickly as possible. I wish the board was equally aggressive.
Okay. This is not what I heard at the board meeting.
No, it wasn't.
No
kidding. With deference to the mayor and the council president, the rest of the governing body, that's the truth of it, right? So.
I'm not saying you guys aren't telling you, I'm just saying, and I think this was brought up by somebody else at that meeting, that, oh, well, you're one thing here, you're one thing here, and I'm not saying you guys are not on the straight.
I would tend to think that I was more than sufficiently able to back my position.
Yes, I think so. All right, thank you very much.
All right, anybody else? Okay, seeing no one stepping up, I'd like to have a motion to close the public portion.
Motion.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, Linda, deep breath, let's go.
Okay, Resolution 143, 2025, acceptance of standing reports. Resolution 144, 2025, authorizing the mayor to execute the generator preventative maintenance agreement with P3 Generator Services effective June 1, 2025 to May 31st, 2026. Resolution 145, 2025, approval of the reimbursement of $150 for the 2025-2026 Board of Health license to Dollar Tree Stores, Inc., 500 Volvo Parkway, Chesapeake, Virginia, 2320 for overpayment. Resolution 146, 2025, reimbursement of drug license fee in the amount of $10 to Moise Rana due to insufficient funds received. Resolution 147, 2025, approval of the clinical services agreement with Rutgers University effective July 1, 2025 to June 30th, 2026. Resolution 148, 2025, approved memorandum of understanding reached with TBA Local Number 181. Resolution 149, 2025, approval of amusement machine licenses for 2025-2026, expiring 5/31/2026 for the Borough of Middlesex. Resolution 150, 2025, 2024 sewer billing waived appeals for Block 201, Lot 5. Resolution 151, 2025, approving the hiring of Matthew B. Dillingham of Plainfield, New Jersey, as a part-time director of code enforcement and zoning at an hourly rate of $50 per hour. Resolution 152, 2025, approval of summer playground staff for 2025. Resolution 153, 2025, accepting the resignation of Christine DiMaggio, toddler playgroup coordinator, effective May 20, 2025. Resolution 154, 2025, accepting the resignation of Ohani Navarro and Damian Macarone of the Department of Public Works. Resolution 155, 2025, authorizing the municipal court to purchase replacement equipment for the municipal court recording system in the amount of $8,715.53 from BIS Digital. Resolution 156, 2025, approval of the towing licenses for 2025-2026. Resolution 157, 2025, authorizing the mayor to execute the municipal alliance contract agreement between the County of Middlesex and the Borough of Middlesex for fiscal year 2026. And also I have Resolution 159, 2025, approving the memorandum of agreement between Middlesex Borough and USWU Local 255, DPW Unit, USWU Local 255 White Collar Unit, and PBA Local 181. Resolution 160, 2025, authorizing the mayor to execute the account service agreement between EB Employee Solutions, LLC, and Middlesex Borough. Resolution 161, 2025, appointing EB Employee Solutions, LLC, DBA, as a difference card to provide HRA services for Middlesex Borough. And Resolution 162, 2025, authorizing the mayor to execute the business associates agreement between EB Employee Solutions, LLC, and Middlesex Borough.
Okay, do we need to pull any of these? Which one's yours?
Definitely 159. It's not on there, it's one of the ones.
Okay, so...
159?
Okay.
And what about the resignations? CRA to be on those?
Yeah, pull those two, that's number 12.
Yeah, that's okay.
Which one is
That's
it?
fine. 12 and one of your last ones you
Okay,
just
got
read.
it.
I'd like to pull the
I want to pull 6.
What?
yes, and the part-timer, just for an explanation so everybody knows.
The PBA you want to pull?
Yep.
Yeah.
6, 9, 12.
And then
159.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
we're paying
Okay.
with it. I'm sorry.
That's all right, got it.
All right,
All the others.
all the others are good, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we need a motion to approve.
Motion. Second.
Second, any discussion? Okay, call the roll.
Council President Carnahan?
Yes.
Councilman DeSenza?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
Yes.
Councilman Doty?
Yes.
And Councilman Griggs?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, very good. Let's do number 6.
148.
Okay. A motion for approval?
Yeah, a motion for approval for Resolution 148, 2025. The motion? Second? All right,
Comment again. Incredible job by you guys. Thank you.
yeah, I mean,
It was a long road, but you were patient with us also.
that's all part of negotiation. You know, when it's in good faith, it goes a long way.
And I know Mike and the mayor, the three of us showed up middle of the day for you guys, so. We were not leaving without that happening.
All right,
Appreciate it. 4 hours later. Yeah, whatever it was.
All right.
Crazy.
all right, anything else, anybody? All right, call the roll.
Council President Carnahan?
Yes.
Councilman DeSenza?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino? Councilman Doty?
Yes.
And Councilman Griggs?
Yes.
Congratulations, guys. All right. All right, number 9, Resolution 151, 2025. Motion?
Motion.
Second?
On this one, just to let everybody know, we had a discussion about this, about going out again, and that's what we did for the full-time position, because we wanted resumes. We didn't just want to go back through the pile. We wanted to get fresh. Anybody that had applied was able to do it. We've been getting them in, and I know Councilman Griggs is the chair of this, and he's going to set something up because we got them so that we can start talking about it.
How many do we have?
You got at least 4, right?
Yeah.
4 or 5?
Yeah,
4 or 5 new ones, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, in addition to the fact that the young man we just
Yeah,
put a part-time, he would be
plus the young
considered
man
also.
that's here, we have it, so.
Okay.
This way we can meet and go through them. But I just want to let everybody know that's what this was about.
Okay?
But we need to do something in the interim. We have no code enforcer right now.
Right.
Or zoning officer.
They
Or
also
zoning.
want to-
All right.
They also
Well, you're not riding around out there,
Approve
Michael.
that.
Not yet, anyway.
I'll take that segue to, in addition to code enforcement, and I gotta tell you, I have a healthy respect for how much code enforcement we need, because the number of calls I've been receiving that have been forwarded to me and everything, it's really a tremendous amount, so I think we're very smart in moving towards a full-time person. Also keep in mind this position does zoning.
Yeah.
A lot of the time it is plan review and signing off on zoning for permits and that sort of thing. So I know code enforcement is the big focus, but there's a big component of zoning as well.
Well, sure, and as we all know, you can rack up a nice little legal bill if you do something wrong on the
Right.
on the zoning side,
And
you
don't
know.
want to do those 3 hats?
No. Definitely.
No, thanks.
I am doing it.
There you go. All right, well, thank you for that, Michael. But anyone else?
I just want to thank Michael for stepping up and taking care of that
Yeah.
one already.
Yeah, it's not easy, I know that.
Thank you, Michael.
Hard job.
All right, call the roll.
Council President Carnahan?
Yes.
Councilman DeSenza?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
Yes.
Councilman Doty?
Yes.
Councilman Griggs?
Yes.
Okay, number 12, Resolution 154, 2025, the resignations. I need a motion.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, just because you're going to
I'm going
recuse?
to recuse myself.
All right, all
I
right.
have a comment on that.
Actually, go ahead, Bobby.
Like, I talked about this last time at our, my report, and the salary we give for these guys, we have to think about increasing. Now, they had incentive years ago because we were hiring. Now, you know, we had a tough budget this year when not only didn't we hire, we did not replace people who left. So these guys have no incentive to stay because, and we're not paying that much money. This is the hardest job in town. So this is something next year we have to think about the salary of these guys. I mean, they no benefits, out in the rain and snow every day picking up garbage. And it's not an easy job. These are the guys, these are their backbone. So it's something you need to think about next year.
Well noted, Bobby, thank you. Anyone else?
No, I'm good.
Are you done, Bobby? Yeah? Okay, call the roll, please.
Council President Carnahan?
Yes.
Councilman DeSenza?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
Yes.
Councilman Doty?
Recuse?
Councilman Griggs?
Yes.
Okay, whatever, 157.
159.
159, which is the memorandum of agreement between the DPW
And what?
and the white collar. Yep. All right, I need a motion,
Motion.
Second.
right? Recuse?
Yes.
All right. Anyone else? Okay, call the roll.
Council President Carnahan?
Yes.
Councilman DeSenza?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
Yes.
Councilman Doty?
Recuse?
And Councilman Griggs?
Yes.
All right, very good. Got a lot of work, getting a lot of work done tonight. I like that. All right, non-consent agenda?
We have Resolution 158, 2025 payroll claims.
Motion.
Second.
All right, any discussion? Okay, call the roll.
Council President Carnahan?
Yes.
Councilman DeSenza?
Yes.
Councilman DeStino?
Yes.
Councilman Doty?
Yes.
Councilman Griggs?
Yes.
Okay. We have one agenda workshop item tonight. We have the Middlesex Elks permit waiver.
Okay, Chris, I'll need a little help on this.
Sure thing.
So since our last meeting, when I brought it up, we have so tomorrow the Elks are going to have their rec permit from Recreation. So I don't have it for you now.
Okay.
For prior meeting. So they'll have that. I did speak to Chris about this. He did dive into the ordinance for Mountain View Park. It is something that we can waive. I think the ordinance reads something like a...
So the ordinance might say 60 days, which is impractical. Sometimes when we put these things in ink, they look not as good when they're in practice. The council can maneuver around that in as much as the council can always grant temporary relief from provisions of its own ordinance as long as a reason is stated as to why, which we have here because it's not possible for them to get A, recreation permits, and B, as you and I discussed, the event license from ABC, which is very difficult to get, and really does not give you 60-day, it makes a 60-day lead time impractical. So we should look at changing that perhaps. But in the meantime, for the Elks' purpose, as long as they get their rec permits, as you and I discussed, Mike, and as long as they get the ABC event permit, which is not given out very easily, there's no reason why you couldn't grant relief under your ordinance to allow them to proceed in Mountain View Park.
So is that a resolution or
Which is a resolution. Mike knows, I would like to see the final rec permit. I don't think we need to wait for the event permit from ABC, because if they don't get it, they can't do it anyway, right? So you can kind of give them some assurance that they're going to have a waiver. That's what the governing body wants. And if they don't get the event permit, which is no sure thing, organizations like the Elks would typically get it, but it's not guaranteed. Then they can't proceed without that. So I have no issue on June 17th putting that
So
on.
you just need a consensus
If
from
that's
us?
what the governing body wants. Your discretion.
So it's consensus to go ahead and give them the waiver?
Yeah, and Chris
I
would work
thought
on
we
the
had
resolution.
problems because the park was under construction.
Well, based on the timeline, Joe, I think when that stuff gets delivered, the bathroom will be delivered, but the other playground stuff won't be until after
Yeah.
When do they want to do this?
June 29th.
June 29th?
Sunday, right? Yeah.
The
Saturday or
bathroom is
Sunday.
getting set down to the left of where it is now, between the road and the fence and the pine clip. That's where it's going to be. So it's not going to be out there, so I think they should be fine.
You think they'll be okay? All right. Anyone else want to ask any questions?
I'm good with
How about a
it.
consensus?
I'm good with it.
Kenny?
I'm good.
2?
Good.
Mike?
Good.
3, 4, 5. There's your consensus. Okay.
Got it.
All right, that takes care of the agenda workshop item. Next, we have privilege of the floor on the agenda workshop item only. Need a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to come up and speak about the agenda workshop item for the Elks permit waiver? Guess not. Motion to close?
Motion.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Guys, there is no executive session, and it's not 11 o'clock, so we're ahead of schedule by a long shot, so I could have a motion to adjourn.